Hello, my name is Klaus Bucher. I'm a software engineer based in Vienna and I work on Drupal and Rust projects. And today I want to test Claude Code, which is a command line tool, an AI tool that helps you understand and modify your code base. And today I would like to use it to do some Drupal maintenance for the open source GraphQL integration module that I maintain. First, a disclaimer about AI. I'm typically an AI critic, but I also want to test what those tools can do. We all know there's a huge environmental impact of AI, water usage, land usage, energy usage, even human people usage. People that are used to correct and train those models are not paid very well. So there are some ethical problems with AI, a lot of them. Nevertheless, as a software engineer, I want to test what's out there. So I thought I will quickly record my results that I get when I use this Claude Code tool. So first to install it with this npm command, I already did that. And then you need to pay $5 in credits that will be used because this tool will make AI requests to the Anthropic servers to get AI responses from there. And you have to pay for that. So that's not cheap. We will see in the end how many credits we used. I got inspired by Dries Beuthard, the founder of Drupal, who posted a similar video recently where he was doing some custom module development on his blog on his Drupal installation. And now I would like to try the same with the GraphQL module. We will not do anything complicated today. If I open my Visual Studio Code here, then you see we have here the GraphQL module and there's a PHP.cs file. And we have a lot of exceptions for missing return comments on functions, and I would like to fix all of those. That's quite a tedious task for a human, but maybe an AI can do it better. So for example, if we look at this data producer proxy class, then we can see not all functions have return comments. Like here, for example, it's a throws, but no return. So probably this will trip up the coding standards checker. And that should be fixed. And we were going to try to do that with AI. If we look into the terminal, then we can run a ddev command to check the current coding standards. So I started my projects in ddev and I have this ddev command. With that I can check if the coding standards are passing, and currently they are passing because we have these exceptions in a config file that we want to get rid of. Okay, so that is working. Now let's start the Claude integration. I will do that from the root of my Drupal installation. All right, so now I'm already logged in. I already authenticated my credentials, and now I can start to interact in human language with this AI on the terminal. I like that it's on the terminal, so it works very universally. So I think that's very good. Probably there's also some integration in the Visual Studio Code. I did not test that yet. But we can try it like this today. I already prepared a prompt where I say fix the return PHP documents in the module's GraphQL module. You can test coding standards by executing this ddev command. The command should be precise and explain why and what exactly is returned. All missing return comments are defined in this GraphQL PHP's XML dist file. And we also want to clean up this PHP.cs config file after you are done so that there are no exceptions for the return comments anymore. Should be good enough, so let's start with that. Pasting this here. Let's see what's happening. So what the tool is doing, it is now reasoning. So it's kind of sending requests to itself in verifying. As you know, AI models are big statistical models. And now the newest trick is that they execute multiple times and check outputs against itself. And now we can actually see the steps that it's executing. For that, it has sent my Drupal code base to the remote Anthropic servers and is getting responses back. So now it asks me already to update the first thing in the data producer proxy, return mixed, a new data producer instance created via the plugin manager. Yeah, I guess that's right. I want to accept that. So now it's looking for the next change and so on. And so I can review those changes. I think they are quite okay. So here we have the data producer proxy again. Return mixed. So this could be a problem because the throws annotation should probably become after the return annotation, but okay, we can leave it like that. Probably it will trip up PHP-CS and we will see it later. The resolve field value from the data producer plugin. Makes sense. Good enough. As you can see, it always takes a couple of seconds to execute. This is also a signifier of the huge computing resources that are run in the background that cause all this environmental impact. So here we have a resolver for the entity ID. I think this command is pretty good. So it returns as integer string null if the entity has no ID yet. Is that correct? Maybe let's take a quick look into the entity ID data producer. Yeah. I don't know, probably. Then we would have to look into the default implementation. So this is probably content entity base or some entity base class. There's config entity base, there's entity base. There should be an ID method. So if the ID is set null, yeah, so the comment is correct. I like it. I think that's a good one. So this is much better than just writing the entity ID. It gives much more information. It gives you, okay, this can be an integer or a string, plus it can be null if the ID has not yet. So this is actually a very good source code command. You should write comments exactly like that. So respect AI, I think that's good. The entity label on null if access is denied. Well, it could probably also return null if there is no label. So I'm not so sure about that. Let's open this class as well. Entity label of the GraphQL module. So we check access. Yeah, okay, in this context that's correct. Null if access is denied. Yeah, but which access? I think we need to be more specific if access to the entity label is denied, not access to the whole entity. That's what the code is doing. So let's modify this. Tell Claude what to do differently. Modify the last part of the sentence as or null if access to the entity label is denied. For whom? For the current user probably. Oh no, we pass in a user. I see. For the given user. For the given user. Alright, so I think it will apply this, hopefully. That's a bit of a long sentence here. So now Claude is making the mistake that the sentence is too long. So we need to tell it that wrap all comments with a maximum length at 80 characters. That's the Drupal standard. So I hope it remembers that for the next comments. Okay, that's pretty good. The indentation is correct. Let's hopefully this is the 80 character mark, but we will see. It has taken over my suggestion on null if access to the entity label is denied for the given user. Great. Move on to the next one. Now this is the entity UID resolver. Add return entity UID or null if the entity doesn't have a UUID. Probably. I guess that's the default implementation of entity UUID. And we always go to the interface, which is a bit annoying. I think we need to go to the entity base again. Yeah, works for me. Why not? So now there's also a problem. It didn't document the param, so PHP code sniffer will fail on that, but we can try to fix this later. Let's do another one. entity created. So it should give back the entity creation date. The formatted entity creation timestamp. That's a good one because we passed the format. Or null if the entity does not support creation time. Is that correct? So the problem with this AI is you always need to check what they are saying, because in 10% of cases they are simply wrong. Where did we need to go? Entity created is here. So we check this method, then we get it, and then we format it. And what was the comment saying? If the entity does not support creation time. Okay, yeah, good enough for me. I like it. Entity changed. That looks also very nice. We can accept it. Interestingly, now it does a bunch of changes and doesn't spend these seconds. So I guess that's good. Okay, now it tries to also document the throws. Is that correct? Entity URL. Entity malformed exception. It's probably forwarding from this, maybe? Yeah. Actually, it can also throw undefined link template exception that we didn't document. Maybe this data producer should catch that. I guess we don't need to change the API. Yeah, I think it's okay to document this. Okay, whatever, this is fine. With the given relationship. Because we pass in the relationship. It's not a relationship, it's a relation, right? It's not a relationship. Relation, not relationship. That should fix it. So it also got it that we have this relationship in the param. That's a good fix, actually. I think it's called a relation, right? If we take a look at node.php. Links. It only says links. I'm not sure what this is called, but I think it's called relation. Yeah, let's go with that. All right, let's do this. So there is nothing to fix, I guess, in this. Not sure what it's trying to do now. The menu link title. Sure. So we could go on, but I think I would like Claude to stop now and just commit these bunch of fixes. Just for demonstration purposes. We don't want to go all the way now because that would be boring. So we tell it something different. Stop the changes now and verify with the ddef phpcs test command that the changes so far are good. So now it's running this testing command, which will probably fail. Yep. So now hopefully the AI will try to fix those fails automatically. It wants to exclude it again. Should we do that? Can't you just fix it, whatever it's failing on? Probably the parameters are missing. Do not exclude it again. Instead, try to fix the error, for example, by adding add param comments. I would assume that is the fail. We can actually check this in another window, what it's currently failing on. Mix type. Oh, it was correct. My mistake. I see. Yeah, Claude, that's good, but I was wrong and you were right. Well, that's not correct. So we are returning mixed, but here it says it returns a data producer proxy. Oh, this looks like a bug. Data producer proxy create. It doesn't return a proxy. No, you're doing stuff wrong. It doesn't return a proxy. So this is what I'm saying. AI is not really reliable. Claude, my friend, the return type comment must always be the same as the return type hint. Otherwise we get really confused. I shouldn't have to explain this to an AI, right? But yeah, that's how you know it's not intelligent. It's artificial, but it's for sure not intelligent. So what are we failing on now? The mixed type hint is allowed. Yeah, I think we need to make an exception because we need to actually have the mixed type hint here. It does the right thing. I think it puts it on line 38, which are our mixed type exceptions. Yeah, that's good. Yes, very good. So now it tries to think if it did everything. I think I told it to quit. Oh, the thinking always takes a long time. This is graphics card spinning in some database, in some data center like crazy. Ooh, that's a nice change. So it removes all the exceptions that we make. Great. I think this is correct. Yes. Does a double check to see if it fixed the issues. And now some other issues will pop up, like the order of the throws, but I can tell it that. That should work. Data producer proxy. Yeah, that's good luck fixing that. The cache data containing value and metadata are null if no cache entry found. That sounds very good. Menu tree subtree. Why are you doing this now? I think we want to stop. So it wants to continue now fixing all the return type hint in some other classes that we didn't touch because menu tree subtree. We removed it. Okay, yeah, why not? An array of enabled menu link tree elements in the subtree. Sure, sounds good. What is it failing on currently? So I should see more. That's a little bit annoying. I don't see the full output of PHP-CS. The cache data containing or null if no cache entry found. Yeah, you had to split it up over the lines. Yes. But I told you to stop at 80 characters. I guess it forgot again. that it should do that. So, are we done now? Yeah, that should be it. So now it should come to the conclusion that everything is done. That was not a bad job. Uh-oh. If you remove all, then you will get a lot of fails. No. I know we want to stop now and commit the changes so far. Oh God. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did I tell it to commit? No. No, I will commit myself, Claude. I don't want you to commit. If this is working, then we can tell it to stop. So that was my fault because I gave Claude confusing instructions. I said we want to commit, but I want to commit. Did I say we? We want to stop now and commit. Yeah, so I thought we would do it together. No, Claude, I don't want you to commit. You can stop now. All good. Because we passed, right? Yeah. That's nice. We successfully added proper return comments or error files. Nice. Fixed line length issues. Well, that you fucked up yourself. Added exclusions for unaware mixed type hints. Yes, that was correct. Okay, I think we are done. So we can also do a double check with PHP stan if we introduced some new problems. We also have PHP stan config set up for GraphQL module, so we can check that. Okay, no errors. So I think we're good to go. Let's double check our things that we changed. So we correctly modified the PHP-CS config file. If I wouldn't record this video, I would go through all these files now and fix them, but for demonstration purposes, I want to stop. We can see it added those type hints correctly. We had to give it some obvious hints, like use the same types as in the return type, but at some point it understood that. At some point it also understood the 80 character line length, which was good. We switched from the relationship wording to relation type. And yeah, looks good. Now we can, as a last step, check how much that cost. Exit. So this cost me $1.16, which is a little bit expensive for the 20 minutes that I spent. But I think the results are quite okay. We got some good results. I didn't have to type it on my own. I didn't have to make up all the sentences. So I think it increased my productivity. So in that regard, I think it's good. As I said, the environmental impact is the big downside. Yeah, so much for this evaluation. Thanks for watching.